Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
Hello and welcome to another episode of I Can Do. I'm Benjamin Lee, wherever you may be. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope and pray that all is well with you. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about the Texas storm. Indeed, we have been through a storm this week. Texas is obviously known for many kinds of storms. When I was in Beaumont, Texas, we went through Hurricane Harvey, and that definitely was a big storm that created quite a bit of pain and suffering for a lot of people. What I'm referring to for today, however, is the winter storm that we have been experiencing, and sadly, many people still, it appears hundreds of thousands of people are still without power. So obviously, this was something very unique. I actually just bought a winter coat a few weeks ago because when I lived in Beaumont, Texas, it never really got that cold. I could go outside in December or January and February and go for a run and be nice and sweaty down there in Beaumont, Texas. Living in North Texas now, it's a little bit different. So this week has been pretty chaotic, but thank the Lord, things are still going well. There are a lot of lessons to learn from this week. We were out of power for a couple of hours on Monday. We were very fortunate. Many people were without power for days. And we did have a leak in one of our pipes outside for the sprinkler system, but thankfully it wasn't anything on the inside. So I talked to my son, and I like to ask him, what sermon ideas can you give me? Or what should I preach right after something like this? And one of the first things that he mentioned was the idea of preparation. You know, I think it's important when we go through moments of difficulties and trials and suffering, that we still try our best to see what we can learn from it. So I want to share with you just some thoughts that I have taken away this week with respect to the winter storm of 2021. One of the biggest thoughts that have come to my mind is, or lessons I guess, is always be prepared. Always be prepared. Well, that's easy to say, but in reality, I think it's really hard to do because we all have like this default mechanism where we may be prepared for a period of time, but then in the process of time, we go back maybe to that original setting of thinking, well, this won't happen to me. I have plenty of time, or something like I'll do it tomorrow. Well, we need to always be prepared. And that can come in a lot of different ways, right? It can come with having certain resources. So thankfully we had flashlights and batteries and water and extra blankets and things like that for people who came over and stayed with us. But I guess you could look at it in a lot of different ways as well, that in life there are going to be storms that are going to come and we need to be prepared. You know, you think about having an I can do mentality or mindset. Preparation, I think, is one of the biggest things that we all need to consider, right? Like even with finances, things shut down. And if you can't get to an ATM or if the ATM is not working, then you may be in a little bit of trouble if you don't have any cash. So preparation can come in a variety of ways where we are prepared for potential storms or when those moments come, making sure that we are as ready as possible. I also think this idea of being prepared could also be with respect to our bodies. You know, being prepared physically and taking care of our bodies to the best of our ability. Everybody has difficulties and challenges, but investing that time in our health, I think, is so important, especially in times of crisis, where there are just a lot of pressures. There's a lot of stress. And if you can be in a good physical state to the best of your ability, it really will go a long way. And so exercise is not just always about how much we can lift or how strong we are, but a lot of it is also about preparation. And for these kinds of stressful moments, being physically ready for those kinds of moments. The winter storm of 2021 in Texas has taught me another lesson, or reminded me about something, and I think this is something for you to consider as well. And it may not be a storm that you'll go through, but just knowing this in general, I think will be good. Know what is important. What is important? A lot of homes, including one of our family members, a pipe broke and one of the rooms got flooded. So things move really fast, and you have to understand, okay, if I got to get out of here really quickly and I have to save certain things, what is most important? And I know that's hard because everything maybe that we have in our homes could be deemed as being really important. But if we only had a short amount of time, then what would we view as being most important? Well, I think that's true when it comes to dealing with storms, like the winter storm that we've had. But I think we can also say that's probably true just in general, right? Like in life, we need to know what is really important. But that's where the challenge is as well. Because we allow the things that are not important, not priority number one, to squeeze out the very things that should be so important to us. That's where we need to make some changes. That's where we need to implement some things before something big really happens. So whether it's documents in our homes would be important if we had to get the bare essentials and to get the very things that we needed to save. But also in a day-to-day affair, our day-to-day lives, we need to know what is most important. And too many times we allow things that are important like worship or working out or family time. And work is important as well, but we can allow other things to get in the way of what really matters. So that's a lesson that I've been reminded of when it comes to this storm. Another lesson that I've taken away from this winter storm of 2021 in Texas is that we all need help. That's an interesting word, help. It's hard to say for a lot of people. But we were all in this together, and we needed help. I'm thankful that I had a brother at the congregation I attend who was able to help us out with our water. I had a neighbor that was able to help me out and tell me that something had burst and water was flying everywhere. Family members that have helped me out as well. We all need help. We cannot allow pride or this idea that we can figure everything out on our own to get in the way. We all need this help. Whether it's in a real storm like a winter storm, and maybe just in other day-to-day affairs, we need help. So this storm is a great reminder for me about the importance of preparation, the importance of knowing what's really important, and understanding there's certain things I just can't do alone. I need help. I need people. Most importantly, I need my Father in heaven. And if we can learn these things and help our children to understand that it's okay to ask for help and that it's okay to say no so that the things that are most important really continue to be important, then that's going to be a great victory for our families, for our marriages, and just for our everyday lives. I hope and pray people in Texas are doing well. I know a lot of people are challenged and struggling right now because of everything that's taken place. Maybe you have an opportunity to provide some help. Maybe you haven't even experienced this storm, but use this storm as a reminder that there will be other storms that will come. And so now is the time to be prepared, to prepare for your exit strategy, to make sure that first things are really first, and to know that all of us from time to time need a shoulder to lean upon. Thank you for listening. Be sure to leave me a rating and a review. Take care, and God bless. And remember, I can do, so can you.